Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy. In this lecture, we will be discussing about the air defense system and we will see how these air defense system actually work. So why is air defense system in news? This is because India has thwarted Pakistan's attempt of attack at multiple places, and that was possible with the help of an amazing air defense system that we have. So let us now see how it actually functions, how we were able to, and how can we actually thought of such attempts of attacks. Now the attack, mind you, was not just a single unidimensional attack, but multiple attacks had taken place, not taken place, but rather we can say have been attempted, which India had thwarted it off. So let us see how this entire air defense system works. Before that, let us understand what is the objective of the air defense system. So the air defense system which is in place, it is not to attack first or to be aggressive. Rather, it's a defense system. It comes into motion only when there is an attack which is happening on a particular country or a particular region. That's when this system comes or starts functioning. So it has an objective of basically taking out the threats from the sky, be it the enemy fighter aircraft, unmanned drones, missiles. In missiles also there are different kinds of missiles, for example the ballistic missile, the cruise missile, etc, etc. So this particular system is going to take off all the threats from the sky, any types, in fact multiple types of threat, and can deal with multiple attacks all at once. So what are the basic components or how do they work? So with respect to how do they work, they will be having various components in it, and various processes are going to happen very rapidly in order to safeguard the area. So if you talk about, there is a complex system in place. The system consists of radar, control centers, defensive fighter aircraft. Now instead of defensive fighter aircraft, we'll see you can have something else as well. You can have surface to air missile as well. Instead of an aircraft uses air to air missile. Instead you can have surface to air missile. So we'll see there will be certain differences, or not differences, but rather variations over here. But generally it will consist of the system of radar, the control centers, the defensive fighter jets, or as I said, surface to air aircraft, surface to air missiles, and ground based air defense missiles is what I'm talking about. It can also have artillery. What is artillery? We'll see that. And electronic warfare system. So here the aircraft, ground based missile, and artillery, you can have all three, one of them or a combination of them as well. So we'll see the advantages and disadvantages of all these three as well. So this is what a system of defense will look like, and all of these basically will be interconnected and will be interoperable. Now moving ahead, the process of defense is threefold. The very first thing that a defense system does is detect. Detection should happen. If you cannot detect, you cannot destroy the attack that is coming your way. So the very first and the basic and the most important, the primary element is detection. Now detection is possible with the help of radar. So typically it is done by radar. Here you are seeing India's radar system in picture. So this detection is done with the help of radar. So what it does is it has the ability to detect the threats in first place. So the very first line of defense of the entire defense system is the radar system. Now instead of radar, we can also use satellites, can also be used in certain circumstances, such as if enemy is launching intercontinental ballistic missiles, then you can use satellites as well. Intercontinental ballistic missile means, intercontinental means that it will be actually long range of few thousand kilometers. So satellites can be helpful in that regard as well. So this is your radar system at work. How does it work? Let us understand that. So this radar will have a transmitter and a receiver. So the red waves you are seeing is the transmitted waves, transmitted electromagnetic waves, which is transmitted by this transmitter. It goes and hits the aircraft or whatever unmanned aircraft or a fighter jet or whatever missile or anything that is coming our way, it hits that, and after hitting, it is received back by the receiver of the radar system. So once this particular process is done, we can calculate the speed of that object, we can calculate the distance, we can calculate the type of object, so on and so forth. All those things can be calculated, and hence the target which is approaching us can be detected through this particular method. And the waves that are being used are electromagnetic waves that we are talking about. Moving ahead, once you detect it, just detecting is not the thing. Now you have to, of course, shoot it down, bring it down. Now you can only bring it down when if you are actually continuously tracking it. I cannot just simply detect and say that yes, there is a target over there and then forget about it. No, I have to keep on continuously tracking it, because it will be continuously changing its place, because it might be in motion, it might be ballistic, it might be cruise missiles, in fact, can change their direction as well depending upon the heat generated and the target that they are locked in with. So we'll have to then, second thing is, keep on continuously tracking. Now this is done using a combination of radar and other sensors. So here also radar is used. In addition to it, infrared cameras and laser range finders etc. are also used over here to keep tracking the particular threat that is there. Once you have detected and now you are tracking as well, now it is possible for you to take it down. That means now it is possible for you to intercept. So once the threat has been detected and tracked, it must be neutralized, and you neutralize by intercepting. So you can see how interception is done. Now this was the enemy rocket that was fired. Now it was about to reach, and it might destroy some place over there. So what you have your defense system over here. Now this defense system consists of this radar system first, which detected. So this particular radar system detected the missile here itself by sending the signals. But see where the destruction is happening over here, as a result of which you need to keep on tracking the path of that missile. So that tracking is done through the control center, and then you have a launcher or fire missile that intercepts it. So it can be an aircraft. Aircraft means the aircraft already in the air is destroying it, or you can have a surface to air missile. In this case, which is seen, it's a surface to air missile system. So it shoots a missile and destroys the enemy missile from coming in. So this is how the entire system is working over here. Now, how do they intercept? See, here one example of interception was given, but it was one single missile, and it looks like it is possibly a ballistic missile. Now, what is the difference between a ballistic missile and a cruise missile? A ballistic missile is like fire. It's like when you fire a ballistic missile, it is going to take a path with respect to the gravity, the speed, etc. All that calculation, it is going to take a ballistic kind of a path. That's a ballistic missile. So if the target is moving rapidly, the ballistic missile may not be of that use. Then you have cruise missile. Cruise missile is like fire and forget. You lock in the target, you fire the missile and you forget it. If the target is changing direction, etc., the cruise missile is going to keep following it till it destroys it. That's a cruise missile. So that means there can be different types of threats. So with respect to the interception will also be dependent on different types of threats that exist. So depending upon the challenge they foresee, different nations including India will utilize wide assortment of weapons to neutralize the aerial threats. Depending upon the type of threat, we will have different resources to neutralize that. The very first thing is the fighter aircraft. So we have with us Rafale, Tejas, Sukhoi Su-30, Mirage, etc. These are aircraft which helps in the interception mission. So they can be scrambled at moment's notice. Immediately they can be taken off. Right. In fact, the fighter jets can be taken off from the deck of the aircraft carrier as well. For example, INS Vikrant, etc. All those things, right? They can quickly climb the altitude. So they can quickly climb a high altitude and then they can use the air-to-air missiles to destroy the target. So this is one. Second, you have surface-to-air missiles. Now, the advantage over here in the surface-to-air missile will be that there is no requirement of time to take up that high altitude. That's one thing. In the jet, you will have a pilot also. Here pilot need not be there, so that saves a life. No, in the sense that not save, because the pilot can still be saved, complete the mission and come back, but rather I should rather say over here that the pilot's life is not endangered over here. So this is basically effective, and they are more effective than the anti-aircraft artillery. So the missiles are more effective than the anti-aircraft artillery. So what is anti-aircraft artillery? This is anti-aircraft artillery. So this is like a gun system. So you have the machine guns which fires a lot of bullets. So if you see, if you have a pistol, the pistol helps in proper targeting, because one bullet comes out and you can target properly. When it's a machine gun, it has a huge amount of recoil and it's very difficult to target it. This is like a machine gun which is over here. So it is known as the anti-aircraft artillery. It fires over 1,000 rounds per minute. So too many rounds it actually fires, and it also helps in bringing down the targets that are there. So these are the ways that the targets can actually be intercepted. Now, in addition to this, actually it is not necessary that you neutralize the target or you bring it down. You need not bring it down. You can in fact neutralize in another way by the use of electronic warfare. What is there? Hack the system. What is there? Use the electronic warfare system in order to jam their systems, so that they cannot, their radar stops functioning, their missile stops functioning, they cannot detect anything, they do not know where the target is, and the missile, everything is jammed. So basically it is designed to disrupt, deceive or destroy threats using power of the electromagnetic spectrum. So what you do is, it is not necessary for you to actually shoot them down, but rather you can jam it up. Consider this to be the network jamming of your phones or your SIM cards. You try to call, but call will not work because there might be jammers in place. So in that same manner, the jammers can be implemented in order to completely ensure that no attack takes place. So these are the various methods that can be used, and this is how the defense system works, and this is how we thwarted Pakistan's attempt of multiple strikes. Thank you.